What's going on? This is Ryan with Automatic Comics, and this was not the video I was planning on filming today. I was looking into something else, just something I had seen something on a Facebook or Reddit post, and I thought it'd be interesting to make a video about, and it resulted in me coming across this. And I think that this is something I know there's some people from CGC that watch my videos. I think this is something that needs to be looked into a little bit on their side. Now, I'm not necessarily saying anybody did anything wrong with this, but when people make those comments where, kind of like joking, it's like, oh, someone had a good day, when they're grading your books. And I usually just like brush those off. I'm just like, someone's just upset about the grades they got. And so they make, that comment. But this one, someone should look into whoever graded this and maybe have a conversation, because it is insane. I'll say that right now. So let's get into this, talk about kind of like what I came across. And I don't like seeing this stuff because I don't know. It just doesn't look great. But let's get into this. We will check out what I'm talking about here. All right, so before we get started, please remember to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. So I had seen a post recently where someone was talking about some troubles they were having with an auction. So I was thinking about making a video about some of the different auction houses and stuff that are out there. And I went to Comic Link because I was going to show the different types of bidding and things that exist out there. And so I went to Comic Link. And this is the auction that they have going on right now. And some great books in there. One book jumped out immediately. And it was because I was like, this was probably one of the ones I just found. There's this one right here. The Secret Wars 8 9.9. Because I had just put out a video like a week ago about new 9.9s showing up on the census. And there were 3 new Secret Wars number 8, 9.9s, and I'm just not surprised that one of them is immediately up for sale. That's what I've been talking about with those books, that these ones, you get them and then people sell them like right away. But now I can actually get the cert number for it. So I was like, hey, I'm going to go look at the other books that were in the submission, because it's fun to do. It's like fun to see. It's like, oh, did they submit like, I don't know, like 15 Secret Wars 8s and, get a bunch of 9.9s? What was the submission like on this one? And you will not believe what I found. It is crazy. So first thing we're going to do, this was this Secret Wars 8. It's currently at $3,433, ends in about 5 days and change. And here's the cert number. So you take that cert number, you plug it in over at CGC, it gives you a result. So 44910190008, Marvel Superhero Secret Wars number 8, 9.9, white pages, blah, blah, blah. Now, the thing is, when you see that it's an 8, there were other books in the submission. So if you're not familiar with how these submissions work, you can have up to 25 books in a single submission. The first book gets a 1 here, and it counts up from 1 to 25. So, of course, what you do is you take that cert number, plug it in over here, change it to a 1, and we go, hey, look at that. Another 9.9. Dazzler number 1. That is one of the books that I talked about in my video. Hey, we got one of the other books, 9.9s that I saw. So Dazzler number 1, 9.9. Then you go, hey, let's keep checking. Number 2. Hey, look, Dazzler number 1, 9.9. Another one of the books that I talked about in that video. So now if you go to number 3, you can tell this was definitely like a 9.8 pre-screen. We start getting some Secret Wars 8s. All right. So we've got from number 3 through number 6 are 9.8 Secret Wars 8s. We don't need to look at all of those, but I can show you, number 4 is also a Secret Wars 8, 9.8. Now, the interesting thing, when we get to number 7, You go, oh, Secret Wars 8, 9.8. Wrong. It's a 9.9. So, and this is the cert number, 9.9007. It is a 9.9. And so the census is wrong. I should have seen more Secret Wars 8s when I did my analysis than I did, because this one is categorized as a 9.8. So there's one issue there that should not happen. Like, there's got to be quality checks. You've got a 9.9 and you're putting in a grade of a 9.8 on the census. So that's one thing. But hey, okay. So there's the first Secret Wars 8 9.9. We are now, if you're counting, at 3 9.9s. If we go to the, this is the fourth, the one that we've already seen. This one is in here correctly. This is the one that's up for sale, 9.9. Now, we'll keep going. We're going to jump to number 10 because number 9 was a 9.8. Jump to number 10. Secret Wars 8, 9.9. There's another one. Let's do another one here. We're going to jump to number 11. Oh, it's a 9.8. Wrong. 9.9. Another one. Like, who is checking this stuff? Seriously, who is checking this stuff? I mean, you just graded a book that's worth like $7,000 and you can't get the serial number or the grade in correct? Like, come on. Like, I mean, this is unacceptable types of mistakes. Unacceptable types of mistakes. Especially because this is a huge deal. Because you've got right now 27 9.9s here. Guess what? It's actually 29. And who knows? Maybe there's other ones. I don't know. Maybe there's other ones that were done wrong. And when you're talking about high dollar books like this, that makes a big difference. When census count really does matter. So there's another one that was wrong. Now we're going to go to number 12. And this is the last 9.9 that was in this submission for Secret Wars 8. So we've got 5 Secret Wars 8 9.9s, 2 Dazzler number 1 9.9s. But let's keep going. So now we're going to check out number 13. 13, I think, was just oh no, here we go. We got New Mutants number 1 9.8. And if you watch my prior video, you know there was a New Mutants number 1 9.9. I wonder where that one is. Oh, it's right here, number 14. 9.9. New Mutants number 1 9.9. All right. So let's keep going. We're going to get to number 15. This one is just a super high grade Silver Age book, 1966, Thor 130, 9.8. Pretty cool book, but yeah, rare 9.8 for Silver Age. But now let's go to number 16. Wolverine Limited Series, number 4, 9.9. Hey, that's one of the other books that I talked about in my video. Another one. The same submission. Well, let's keep going. We're going to go to number 17. 17, actually restored book. That type, I don't know. I don't like seeing that in this mix. I'll tell you that right now. But this is a 9.8 color touch. Small amount of color touch on the book. Especially when it's A1 color touch. That's professional. I don't know. That makes things a little more sketchy. But hey, all right, let's go to number 18. Hey, look, there's that X-Men 145 that I talked about in my video too. 9.9, Doom cover. Now we can actually see them. We can actually see these books. And now I'm like, they're nice. I mean, I looked at them. They are nice books. Like, they're good. I mean, they're good looking books. Like, maybe you could still argue it's like, yeah, maybe they're 9.9s. But so many in a single submission, like at some point, it's pretty, like, this should throw up red flags, at least on their side, that maybe we need to double check this submission. And maybe they did, but this is a lot of 9.9s in a single submission. But hey, let's go check out 19. Oh, look, there's another 9.9. There's that other one I talked about. X-Men 174, 9.9. I mean, yeah, it's like it's a good looking book. Like super sharp corners, really sharp edges. Like I'm not saying, and this I'm sure this looks like a scratch on the case, that these aren't 9.9s, but there's so many in a single submission. Like that's that should throw flags, like internal quality check flags. And we're not done yet. So I think we've got one more. Got one more here. So we go to number 20. And there's that X-Men Annual 3 that I talked about in my video. Also a 9.9. So we can actually see this one. We can take a close look at what this, 9.9 looks like. I mean, yeah, it's a clean book. I'm not going to argue that at all. Like the book is super clean. I'll say I did not like seeing that color touch one in there in the mix. Like that, especially professional color touch. I mean, what one was that? Was that 17? Professional color touch makes me nervous. Like who's working on the book? Because this is somebody that intentionally did that. And people aren't normally color touching an X-Men 62, especially one that's this high of grade. So I don't know. Like I don't like this book in this mix. I think that there's something like all of this to me was a flag that CGC should have been like, we need to look at these twice. But final book that was in the submission was 21. Here's another one of these, 9.8. So there are 21 books in this submission, 12 9.9s in this single submission, 12 of them. That is unheard of. You had 5 Secret Wars 8s, 2 Dazzler number 1s, a New Mutants 1, Wolverine 4, X-Men 145, X-Men 174, and X-Men Annual 3. All 9.9s. And a few of them are up for sale. I mean, we already showed you the Secret Wars 8, 9.9. Then I went over to Comic Link and I was like, oh, I'm just going to see what 9.9s are in this auction. I got to be careful how far down I scroll because there's definitely some not safe for work 9.9s that are in this auction. Here's the Dazzler number 1, Secret Wars 8, New Mutants 1, Wolverine 4, X-Men 174. I think that was the last one. Yeah, I'm not going to go down below there. So in this auction, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these 9.9s from this submission. I mean, like I said, there's a couple things I don't like about this submission. One of them is that CGC screwed up and labeled 2 of the Secret Wars 8s incorrectly. They labeled them in the census as 9.8s. Like that is a huge, huge mistake. The other thing is having 12 out of 21 books in a single submission get 9.9s. I mean, like I said, they're clean looking books. I mean, I can't argue that. They are clean looking books. But I feel like that requires some pretty serious checking, internal checking, where you've got to have multiple people cross-check that to make sure that these are legitimately what they are. Because, I mean, like some of these are single highest graded. Like this one, this X-Men 174. This is the only copy that's out here. Dazzler 1 used to just have 1 and now has 3. And then we've got that color touched copy that it's just really questionable when you've got a color touch professional small amount sitting in the middle of all these other ultra high grade books. I mean, I don't know. I don't like any of this personally. I don't like any of this. This would have been like if I had some internal checks at CGC, I would have red flags, just sirens going off everywhere with this. There's just something I don't like. But, you know, 9.9s always bringing up there's always something interesting going on with 9.9s out there. And this is one of them. And like I'm saying, I hopefully someone from CGC is watching, and I think that they need to look into this one. You know, whether check with their grader or what, you know, make sure that this type of stuff, like when you get this many 9.9s across multiple books in one submission, somebody just, like I said, are they feeling good that day? Like, do you think if you submit these 21 books again, you're getting 12 9.9s? I don't know about that. So I don't know. I saw this, really jumped out to me because I had just talked about all these books. And when I started going through these, I was expecting to see like 25 Secret Wars 8s. When I saw that Dazzler one, when I hit number 1, I was like, oh, what is going on? And then as I started going through it, it's, yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. I know there's going to be all the hate and stuff for 9.9s and that, but on a more serious note, like, this is the type of stuff CGC should be checking. But all right, this is my video for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. See you on the next one.